We're about to watch this video where Jordan Peterson looks like he is a little upset. He's touched by this particular interaction. And there's this amateur provocateur, you know, Andy Ngo, and he asked him how bad is Antifa? Because we haven't heard about Antifa in a little while, because they're the worst in the world. Let's listen to this exchange. Watch what they had to say about Antifa.
Based on your knowledge, your background, your clinical experience, what is the psychology of this mob violence? When I see it, like I don't even recognize some of these. They seem animalistic, is what I mean.
No, they're worse than animals. They're worse than animals, because animals, they just kill to eat, you know? Human beings, they have a twist in them that makes them far worse than animals when they really get going. Well, I think you really want to know what I think? I think it's revenge against God for the crime of being. That's really what I think. It's Cain and Abel. It's like, oh, Abel's your guy, eh? God, how about if I take him out in the field and beat him to death? How do you feel about that? All my sacrifices went unrewarded. Yeah, it's like, yeah, that's what it is at the bottom of the hell of things.
Is he still considered this highly intelligent, superior human being? I don't know. But we do want to watch again a little bit more of this crying from Jordan Peterson that's upset about these animals. Watch more.
It's like, yeah, that's what it is at the bottom of the hell of things.
The bottom of the hell of things. I feel like you guys paid more attention to Jordan Peterson than I do. This is regular for him?
Oh yeah, if you go to his YouTube channel, it's so all unhinged, weird stuff. He wrote a song that he sings on. It's so strange. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. But I would like to congratulate him on perfectly encapsulating the look of busted. I didn't know. He just looks terrible. He's down horrendous. What happened to him?
Not down bad.
He's down atrocious, catastrophic.
He could have scurvy.
He might have had a little apple cider and it might have gotten to him.
Wow.
As he famously was almost killed by a glass of apple cider. Anybody who doesn't know.
Didn't.
I love this clip so much because of Andy Ngo's face, because that was too much even for Andy. There's like that moment where he's like, you know, the dragon of chaos, and then Antifa is basically mother the dragon, all that. And then all of a sudden he's like, he's staring right at the camera and he's like, he's got a really confused look when he's like, this is biblical. This is God's revenge. This is Cain and Abel. I was like, whoa, I never thought about that. Because even Andy Ngo, of all people, he wrote a book on like lies about Antifa. It's like, it's the most ridiculous piece of work. So the fact that he was like, well, this is a little much, Jordan. I think you're reaching. But.
He's like, how do we get here? It's just Antifa. Yeah, and honestly, I don't know if this is from 3 years ago or something, but maybe a year or two ago. It's not, but this is reviving that same talking point about Antifa. I thought we were talking about Antifa when they were trying to blame January 6th on them or anything else that's potentially violent in the country on Antifa, because it's Antifa and they're animals. What is this, something that just happened? Did I miss some event, kind of clash?
That's Andy's shtick. That's all he's ever done. Everything bad that happens in Portland is Antifa. He defended a murderer who, who would have guessed, subscribes to Andy Ngo's YouTube channel. He shot an innocent woman in Portland because he was radicalized to think that Antifa was some evil force and wanted to do violence against them. But of course, so Andy Ngo ran defense for that person. So did the Portland Police Department. But yeah, that's what he does. He's the Antifa expert, despite having no credentials and just being a perpetual victim who has a fake accent and pretends that a milkshake caused him to get brain damage. I don't know. It's a whole thing. He's a whole character. There's so much lore there.
He's upset at being. You know who's I don't know if I want to jump this to you guys because I was fascinated by both of y'all's rejection from social media sites, conservative social media sites, particularly Truth Social and Lance. What was the other one again? I have no idea about that.
It's Dave Rubin's. It should be called High Level Ideas, but I guess I'll digress on that one. It's called Locals. Locals.com is Dave Rubin's.
And what was it you submitted for this? Because we mentioned this at the top of the show, but you submitted something to be involved with Locals.
Right. So you know how Dave Rubin's always talking about how he's all about like high level ideas. I want everyone to spread ideas, and we talk about that kind of stuff. And he also talks a lot about cancel culture and being 1984 and how like everyone is coming after our sexy M&Ms and potato people and all that kind of stuff, right? Well, I was like, okay, well, he's got a social media site, and if he's not into censorship like he claims, then I should be able to call it anything I want. So I named my account "Debate Sam Cedar, You Coward." .locals.com, and right after you make the account, you have to get approved after you fill in all your socials and all that. And he made me wait a year until only like a couple of weeks ago, and I was finally rejected. But I was on pause for a full year waiting for Dave Rubin to approve that domain. And for a long time, that domain, like if you look in the Wayback Machine, would bring you to like locals.com is approving this account still, like as a frozen page. But,
that's what I was wondering. So wait, the longer it took, did you have more hope or less hope? You're like, this is actually going longer than I thought.
Part of me, because he's blocked me on other forms of social media, he's blocked me on Twitter, he's blocked me on a whole bunch of other things. Part of me felt that he was just edging me. Like I would have to wait and then be slowly every single day. I'm like, when am I going to find out whether or not I'm allowed to actually enter the Cherish portal? But yeah, I was denied.
What would you have done if you gotten in though? Because that's the thing, that'd be a surprise. Then you have to go, how do I back this up? How do I continue here? Maybe it was a mistake.
Well. Yeah, the next phase probably would have been uploading clips of Sam Cedar making fun of Dave Rubin until he kicks me off.
There's aspects, you never know. And Ravana, you were on Truth, or you tried with Truth Social.
I tried.
They had their other issues. Now, maybe you can break down what it is that the issues they've had, because it's been extensive. I'm not even sure when Donald Trump launched this whole thing, but of course, Truth Social was supposed to be the Twitter for conservatives, where the post, instead of tweets, you post truths, and it's free flowing. It's to get away from that discrimination and the censorship of Twitter. So what'd you do?
Oh, actually, and I had joked about this on, I think it was on an episode of the main show with Brett a few weeks ago, where right when Truth Social was about to drop, it took like a couple weeks for me to even like get the emails so I could get into the app. But I was joking before and followed through that, some celebrities are not going to be on Truth Social. So you can go on Truth Social and pretend to be those celebrities. So I was, Ben Affleck I was at Ben Affleck. I was going to be, the real Ben Affleck. Yeah. And then I flew too close to the sun when I applied for verification because my account was banned. Not shortly after that. Or not long after that. I mean, I didn't even get to really use the app. I really did fly too close to the sun with that one.
Wait, what'd you do wrong? I missed how you got busted. Just by trying to be
impersonating a celebrity.
Oh, that's the rule number one.
And blatantly.
Yeah, I was a little egregious with it. I mean, if I hadn't applied for verification, I could still be rocking it, but
So now they've associated whichever IP address, whatever you used. So if you try now under.
I could probably get back in with a different email if I wanted to. I think it was because the verification process, you have to send like a picture of an ID. I think it was just like the picture I submitted was probably like the dumbest looking fake picture I could make. No effort in it. It's a picture of his full body on it.
No, see, it's the thing. I thought I feel like you guys didn't try.
Oh no. I could go back and try a little bit harder, put more effort into it, but
because actually a few days ago we did a story about Trump Jr. that has started his own aggregation site when it comes to all of the conservative type, not necessarily conservative, but what he sees as MAGA supporters, what kind of things they want to read, because apparently Drudge Report has fallen off. They used to be this great site where conservatives can come and get real news, not the fake stuff, or just things maybe about Trump's time in office, all of his accomplishments, the things that he's doing at his rallies that don't talk about how he had 35% filling of capacity of the place, which then he goes later and says, oh, it was the most glorious rally ever in, where was he last time? North Carolina history, he was one of those states. And it was just amazing. So he's pushing that, which I think in a way is something that has a better chance of surviving than these social media sites. Because again, you know what these folks want, these conservatives folks, these guys that get attention, is they want, that's why Ted Cruz was checking his Twitter as he was grilling Ketanji Brown Jackson over the Supreme Court nomination hearing, is because he wanted to be heard and seen on Twitter so then he could get on Sean Hannity's show that night. These other side sites don't work. maybe when Junior's pushing these other story sites, that actually might be something that can glom onto. I don't know if you guys can make that way.
Well, I was gonna say there's a lot of alternate media that conservatives have been trying to populate for one reason or another, and some of them don't survive at all. Like Gab. I mean, because the problem is if you start a social media site and you advertise it as this social media site is about free speech and it's only going to be it's the one place in the world that free speech will reign. Well, what usually happens is it fills up with child porn and Nazis. Like it's just only a matter of time because they won't be allowed in other social media systems. So a lot of them do fail. The ones that have kind of started to succeed, oddly enough, are Rumble. I don't know if you've heard about that or if either of you have. It was a format that got a lot of funding from JD Vance and some other people, Peter Thiel as well. But it started by a Canadian, and it's one of the few like YouTube alternatives that seems to be dominated by right wingers, like Donald Trump Jr.'s on it, Eric Trump's on it, Glenn Greenwald's on it, a whole bunch of different people, and it's become increasingly popular in spite of being like alt media.
Yeah, Rumble may or may not have approached me, and I may or may definitely have turned them down. I mean, yeah,
money.
I know it's good. It is good money, right? I mean, it was a small amount, but like some people are getting banked to go on Rumble. I'm not going to do it, but
people got like 6 figures apparently.
Quite a bit of money.
Wait, so okay, I'm sorry because I'm the guy that avoids these types of things like it's COVID. The thing is so what is it? What's it most directly related to? A YouTube or is it more like an Instagram where you're trying to do stories?
So Rumble's like a YouTube alternative that's both, it does live streaming and it does videos. What it is notable for is it filled up with a lot of conservative figures, and especially conservative figures who were getting, for one reason or another, kicked off other social media platforms, right? Dan Bongino is someone who moved over to Rumble. They're also spending a lot of money acquiring assets. Like they're spending lots and lots of capital getting big names on there, and it's filled with a lot of huge right-wing celebrities right now. I think they're trying to balance it a bit more by reaching out to some, I mean, like you just saw, Ray Vanna's been apparently reached out to, so they're trying to bring in more people to their ecosystem. But it's rare for there to be a social media site that is going in direct competition to something like YouTube and starting to succeed in spite of everything. But I don't know their numbers. I don't know if they're just bleeding money, getting like all these huge names onto it. Yeah, it could be that.
Yeah, I was definitely supposed to be their segue to bringing TYT onto Rumble. I just was not gonna do that. But yeah, like a lot of people will say, these right-wing YouTubers, I can swear now, right? Yeah, these fucking assholes will like go on their YouTube and they'll tease like, I can't say this because I'll get banned on YouTube. But if you want to hear my really spicy vaccine takes, head on over to my Rumble. And it's just, there's less moderation there, I suppose, so they can get away with a little bit more. Also, there's just less eyes on it. People just aren't paying as much attention. Like it's become pretty successful, but I mean, obviously nowhere comparable to YouTube.
I'm trying to figure out what else they could possibly say on something like Rumble that they don't say and we hear everywhere else when it comes to these hot takes on the vaccine or anything that they may want to talk about. It's not like we don't hear the stupidity.
You do, but again, it's been pretty. I think it has been demonstrably restricted on YouTube, for example, in terms of vaccine misinformation. You can skirt around it. Like right now, I'm going to use a euphemism such as like horse paste or like horsey goo instead of saying the name of the medication that everyone can't say on YouTube because it gets you flagged or gets you in trouble. All the way up to people fully endorsing conspiracy theories and getting their channels taken down. Whereas on Rumble, you can right now, it's pretty much the Wild West outside of extreme hate speech, calls to violence, and child pornography. That they allow you to say a lot of things. Like you can get away with people talking about Holocaust denial, combining that with saying the N-word, like all these kind of horrible things can all be on one platform.
Then that gets promoted, easily accepted, and they go, this is great, this is what we were looking for.
Well, it also comes down to how long do advertisers, like how long is this a financial business incentive while it's filling up with the baddies, right? Like how long can you make an entire ecosystem fill up with some of the worst possible people, your Donald Trump Jr.'s, et cetera, all the way to like far right nationalists like Nick Fuentes and stuff like that. There's got to be a point in which, well, how do we make money? Do advertisers want to touch this? We're filled with all these neo-Nazis, right? What's our business model going to be if we're so invested in free speech?
What kind of product could you possibly be he's selling. You know, armbands, little mustaches.
Alex Jones still has advertisers. So My Pillow. That's it.
He sells his own products though. That's the genius of Alex Jones. He sells all his own brain pills and chicken skin and masculinity medication, all that kind of stuff.
Well, apparently it's working
Mike Lindell would invest in these companies though. You could always watch a My Pillow commercial before some anti-vax video on Rumble.
Well, that's Lindell TV and then RSBV and all those super alternative right-wing broadcasting networks or stations or even sites. That's where you'll find Mike Pillow every time. And maybe he's thriving, but it doesn't really seem that way because he still complains about being booted from Fox News, that bastion of liberals over there. Okay, I'm sorry, I could be fascinated by this stuff forever because the degree to which I have distanced myself is astronomical. So maybe I'm surprised, Ravana, that they haven't reached out to me yet to ask me to be part of Rumble, to be an introduction to TYT, which of course I'd also say no. What I need that for.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.